Getting ready for those earth science lecturer interviews, huh? I bet you want to totally nail it. Not just get the job, but, really showcase that passion for earth science, right?
Definitely.
Like to really stand out from all those other candidates.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some seriously good intel for you today.
Oh, yeah?
Straight from RoleCatcher.
Nice.
Their career guide and the interview guide, specifically for earth science lecturers.
Oh, wow.
These things are like gold mines, honestly.
Just looking through them, they really do go way deeper than the usual stuff you see.
Right.
It's not just like, oh, be yourself. This is actual actionable advice
Right.
that you can use to really connect with those interviewers.
Okay, so first things first, I was going through the career guide, and they mentioned this whole trend toward sustainable development, environmental conservation, all that.
Yeah.
How does that actually impact what an earth science lecturer does? What's the role all about now?
So it's really interesting. It's not just about teaching the science anymore. Right. It's about getting students ready to use that knowledge to solve real problems.
Oh, interesting.
Out there in the world.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Climate change, resource management.
Yeah.
All these huge issues, they need people who really get earth science.
So the role is even more important now than it used to be.
Totally.
Not just for academia, but for society.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's something you can totally use in your interviews.
Oh, okay.
Show them you get the bigger picture.
Got it.
That earth science is shaping the future.
All right. Mental note made.
Okay. Now let's get to the really good stuff.
Great.
The interview questions themselves.
Yes.
RoleCatcher gives you 9 sample questions.
Okay.
We're going to go through each one.
Let's do it.
Starting with, what inspired you to pursue a career in earth science? Seems pretty simple, but
yeah.
What are they actually looking for here?
Passion.
Anyone can rattle off their qualifications.
Right.
But what makes you different is that genuine spark.
Yeah.
The story of how you got hooked on earth science.
Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, my spark was a childhood trip to Yellowstone.
Nice.
Seeing those geysers erupting.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
How do I turn that into a good interview answer?
Don't just describe what happened.
Okay.
Connect it to your why.
Yep.
Maybe seeing those geysers made you realize, the immense power under the Earth's surface.
Yeah.
And that sparked a desire to, unravel its mysteries.
Oh,
That's what they want to hear. The deeper meaning behind the story.
Ah, I see.
They want to see that intellectual curiosity.
So it's about showcasing that.
Okay.
What if they then follow up with, how have that early inspiration influenced your approach to teaching?
Perfect. That's where you bridge the gap between your story and your teaching style.
Okay.
Maybe you realize that firsthand experiences make learning come alive. So you incorporate field trips or hands-on experiments in your classes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, question number 2. This one's interesting. What is the most challenging earth science concept you've taught, and how did you overcome it? It almost feels like they're asking you to admit a weakness, which is a little,
Yeah, but remember, every challenge is a chance to grow.
True.
Choose a concept that was genuinely tough to teach.
Okay.
But then focus on the how. How did you break it down for students?
Okay.
Did you come up with creative analogies, use visuals, or even adjust your teaching style based on their feedback?
So it's less about the actual concept.
Right.
And more about how you adapt problem solve.
Exactly. They want to see that you're a reflective educator, constantly learning and refining your approach.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to question number 3. How do you incorporate current events and real-world issues into your earth science lectures? I feel like this is where I can really showcase my passion for the subject, but I also don't want to go off on a tangent.
Sure.
Right.
It's all about finding that balance
Okay.
between relevance and focus. Choose one specific example.
Right.
Maybe a recent news story about climate change
Mm-hmm.
or a documentary about ocean conservation.
Okay.
Something like that.
So I've got my example. Then what?
Explain how you weave it into your teaching. Maybe you use it to start a class debate. Or have students analyze data related to the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Show them you're not just lecturing,
Okay.
you're creating engaging learning experiences.
Got it. Okay. Now, the next question is a little philosophical. What is your teaching philosophy, and how does it apply to earth science?
Don't overthink it.
Okay.
Just think about what makes learning effective.
Okay.
Do you prioritize hands-on activities, Collaboration, student-led inquiry.
I'm a big believer in active learning.
Okay.
Like, get them out of their seats,
Love it.
engaging with the material directly.
Perfect. Now tie that back to earth science.
Okay.
Maybe you talk about how field trips let students observe geological formations firsthand,
Yeah,
or how lab experiments help them understand complex processes.
got it. So make my philosophy
Yes.
tangible
Tangible, yes.
and relevant to earth science.
And relevant to earth science, exactly. And they are also trying to figure out if your style matches their institution's values.
Oh, okay.
So do some research on their website.
All right. Good tip. Speaking of showcasing your capabilities,
Yes.
that kind of ties into question number 5. How do you assess student learning in your earth science classes? I feel like this one could be a trap.
It's all about showing a well-rounded approach.
Okay.
Don't just say exams. Talk about a variety of methods. Maybe use quizzes, presentations, lab reports, even creative projects.
So it's about showing that I'm not just like, assigning grades.
Right.
I'm evaluating their actual understanding.
Exactly.
In different ways. Okay.
And don't forget to mention feedback.
Oh, right.
How you provide constructive criticism. Guide students towards improvement.
Okay. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a handle on these.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI features can be super helpful in refining your answers.
Oh, okay.
You can record practice sessions.
Wait, really?
And get AI-driven analysis on your delivery.
Oh, wow.
Pacing, even your word choices.
That sounds amazing.
It's like having a virtual interview coach.
I am definitely going to check that out.
It can help you identify areas where you might be rambling or using jargon that the interviewers might not understand.
So it's all about making sure my message is
clear
and
impactful.
Okay.
And that brings us to question number 6.
Okay.
How do you stay current with developments and advancements in earth science? This one's all about showing your commitment to lifelong learning.
Okay, so obviously I read journals and attend conferences, but what else can I say to really impress them?
Think beyond the obvious.
Okay.
Do you follow any earth science blogs or podcasts?
Are you active in online forums where researchers share their latest findings?
I do follow a few really interesting earth science podcasts.
Perfect.
One even did a deep dive into.
See?
Yeah.
That's perfect. It shows you're genuinely engaged and curious about the field.
Okay, I'm feeling more confident already. Now, question number 7. This is one I think a lot of educators struggle with. How do you accommodate different learning styles in your earth science classes?
This is where you show off your flexibility and adaptability as a teacher. Think about how you cater to visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners.
Okay.
So it's like having a toolkit of approaches.
Yeah.
Lectures, discussions, hands-on activities, even online simulations.
Exactly.
And don't just list them.
Okay.
Give concrete examples.
Got it.
Maybe you use 3D models to explain geological formations.
Oh, yeah.
Or have students create videos to demonstrate their understanding of weather patterns.
All right, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
What's that? It's not just about answering the question.
Right.
It's about painting a picture of myself.
Yes.
As an engaging and effective educator.
You got it. Okay.
Now let's tackle question number 8. How do you integrate technology into your earth science classes? This one's all about showcasing your tech savviness and how you use digital tools to enhance learning.
Okay, I definitely use PowerPoint.
Sure.
Online quizzes. What else can I mention to stand out?
Think beyond the basics.
Okay.
Do you use virtual field trips to explore distant locations?
Oh, yeah.
Interactive simulations to model complex processes?
I have used Google Earth to create virtual field trips.
Nice.
Students love it.
Perfect. It shows you're creative and you're using technology in a way that really enhances learning.
All right, on to question number 9. How do you foster a sense of community and collaboration in your earth science classes?
This is where you highlight your ability to create a positive and supportive learning environment.
Talk about how you encourage teamwork, respect, open communication.
So it's about going beyond just delivering the content.
Right.
And actually building a classroom culture.
Yeah.
Where they feel connected, engaged.
Exactly. Mention specific strategies you use.
Okay.
Like icebreakers, group projects, even peer learning activities.
All right. I'm starting to feel a lot more prepared for this interview. But before we move on, I'm curious to hear more about RoleCatcher's AI features.
Yes.
You mentioned they can help with tailoring answers.
Yeah.
How does that actually work?
It's pretty amazing.
Okay.
The AI analyzes job descriptions and identifies keywords and skills that employers really value.
Okay.
Then it can suggest ways to work those keywords into your responses.
So it's like, I have a secret weapon to make sure my answers
Yes.
align with what they're looking for.
Exactly. Can give you that extra edge.
Okay.
Help you stand out.
Well, I am sold.
Got it.
I am definitely going to explore those AI features.
I think you'll be impressed. It's a game changer for interview prep.
All right. Let's take a quick breather and then come back to those last few questions
Sounds good.
and dive into some career insights
Okay.
from the RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Okay, so back to those interview questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got a few more, and these really get into your experience as an educator.
Okay.
Question number 10 is, describe a time you had to adapt your teaching style to meet the needs of a diverse student group.
This one feels tricky. I mean, I try to be inclusive, but how do I actually show that as, like, sounding generic?
Think about a specific situation
Okay.
where you really had to go above and beyond. Maybe you had a student with a learning disability
Wow.
or a class with a wide range of backgrounds, cultures, language skills, that kind of thing.
I once had a student who was deaf.
Oh, wow.
It really made me rethink how I presented information, like how I ran discussions.
That's a great example. Now, walk them through what you did.
Yeah.
Did you use more visuals, provide written summaries, work with the student on, like, alternative assessment?
Yes, to all of that. It was a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
But it made me a much more adaptable teacher.
And a more sensitive one, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what they'll want to hear.
Okay.
That you're willing to go outside your comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
to create a truly inclusive classroom.
All right, question 11. This is a scenario. Imagine you have a student who's struggling to understand a key earth science concept.
Yeah.
How would you approach that to help them succeed?
This is about showing you can provide that one-on-one support.
Okay.
Start by emphasizing open communication,
Right.
creating that safe space for the student.
Yeah, totally.
So they feel comfortable asking questions.
Okay.
Talking about their struggle.
So I'd let them know I'm there to help,
Exactly.
that it's okay to not get it right away.
Perfect.
All right.
Then what? How do you actually help them?
Right.
Would you review their work to find any gaps in their knowledge? Offer one-on-one tutoring. Try explaining the concept in different ways.
Right.
Maybe using analogies or, like, real-world examples.
I often find that connecting it to something they're familiar with really helps.
Oh, like what?
Like explaining plate tectonics by comparing the Earth's crust to puzzle pieces.
Oh, I like that. It shows you're thinking creatively.
Yeah.
Trying to make that material relatable.
Okay, cool.
All right, last but not least, question 12. Looking ahead, what are your long-term goals as an earth science educator? This one's pretty open-ended.
Yeah, it is.
It's your chance to show them. You're not just looking for any job.
Right.
You're envisioning a whole career in this field. Talk about your hopes for teaching, research, professional development.
Okay, so I could mention my interest in, like, developing a new curriculum on climate change education, or maybe wanting to mentor undergrad research projects.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to, like, dream big here.
Yeah.
Maybe you see yourself leading a research trip to Antarctica one day.
Oh, wow.
Or publishing a groundbreaking textbook.
Now, that would be amazing. Okay, I'm feeling really pumped.
Yes.
Ready to tackle this interview. But before I go practice my answers with RoleCatcher's AI, I'm curious about those career stages you mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Yes.
It outlined a path from teaching assistant all the way to research professor.
It's quite a journey.
It is.
It's fascinating to see how the responsibilities and the opportunities change at each stage.
Yeah.
For example, as you move up, you usually get more freedom in your research.
Okay.
You might take on leadership positions in your department. You could even mentor junior faculty.
So it's not just about climbing the ladder.
Right.
It's about having a bigger impact.
Exactly. And the guide actually gives examples of real people who followed these paths.
Oh, cool.
It shows what skills and experiences were important at each level.
That's really helpful
Yeah.
to see those concrete examples. It makes it feel more real,
Right.
achievable.
And don't forget about continuous learning
Mm-hmm.
throughout your career.
Yeah.
The guide really stresses that.
Okay.
Staying current on research, attending conferences,
Mm-hmm.
even getting more degrees or certifications.
So it's about always being a student,
Yes.
even as you become a more, like, seasoned educator.
Absolutely. That's what's so great about academia. It's a constant journey.
Of discovery and growth. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, I know we've been focusing on the interview, but before we move on, I want to go back to RoleCatcher's AI.
Yeah, sure.
You said it can analyze job descriptions
Mm-hmm.
to identify keywords.
Right.
But how does that help me improve my interview answers?
Think of the AI like a highlighter,
Okay,
a superpowered one. It picks out the skills and experiences the hiring committee cares about most.
got it.
Let's say the job description really emphasizes student engagement and innovative teaching methods. The AI will flag those phrases.
Okay, so I see those keywords highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
What then?
Then you make sure to bring those ideas into your answers.
Got it.
You're speaking directly to what they're looking for.
Okay.
For example, when you talk about your teaching,
Mm-hmm.
highlight how you've engaged students
Yeah.
and used innovative approaches in your classes.
Ah, I see. So it's not just about using the right words.
Right.
It's about showing I actually do those things.
Exactly. The AI helps you connect the dots.
Mhm.
Make sure your answers really resonate.
That's incredibly helpful. I
Yeah.
can see how using those AI features
Ah,
could give me a real advantage.
totally. And don't forget,
Yeah.
it can also analyze your practice videos, give you feedback on your pacing, tone, even body language.
Wow. It's like having a personal coach.
It is.
Okay, I'm definitely going to explore all of RoleCatcher's AI features.
Good.
I think you'll be impressed.
It sounds like a game changer for interview prep.
It is.
Well, I'm feeling much more prepared,
Good.
confident. Thanks to all this info from RoleCatcher.
Of course. But before we wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. What are some key takeaways
Mm-hmm.
from the career guide
Okay.
that anyone who wants to be an earth science lecturer should keep in mind?
One thing they really stress is how much the role is changing.
Oh.
It's not just lecturing and research anymore.
Mhm.
It's about getting students ready to tackle real-world problems,
Okay.
to be leaders in sustainability and environmental stuff.
So connecting the science
Mm-hmm.
to the bigger picture,
Yeah,
inspiring them to actually make a difference.
exactly. And the guide also talks about networking, building connections in the field,
Yeah, that makes sense.
going to conferences,
Hmm.
joining organizations, even
Hmm.
just reaching out to researchers you admire.
Yeah.
Those are all good ways to learn more
Okay.
and open doors to new opportunities.
So it's about building a community, finding mentors.
Exactly. And remember, becoming an earth science lecturer, it's a journey, not a destination.
I like that.
Embrace the learning, seek out challenges, and never stop being curious about the world.
That's really inspiring advice.
Thanks.
Well, I'm feeling energized, ready to start this journey.
Awesome.
And thanks to RoleCatcher's resources
Yeah,
and those AI features, I'm confident I can ace that interview
good.
and land my dream job.
You know, as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm thinking about all the practical stuff we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
How to answer those tough questions.
Right.
How to really highlight your skills.
Yeah,
Even using AI to give you an edge.
totally.
But beyond all that, there's something more fundamental to a great interview.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What's the secret ingredient?
Authenticity.
Ah, okay.
When you truly love earth science,
Hmm.
when you're genuinely passionate about teaching, about inspiring others, that energy, it's contagious.
Oh, totally
It
agree.
just cuts through everything else and
Yeah.
really connects with the interviewers.
You know, I've been on interview panels myself, and you can tell when someone's just like reciting a script
Oh, absolutely.
versus when they're speaking from the heart.
Exactly. So yes, prepare. Practice your answers. Use all those awesome tools from RoleCatcher.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, let your passion be your guide.
I love that. It's such a good reminder
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, skills and experience matter,
Of course.
but it's that genuine enthusiasm that really makes you stand out.
Totally.
Right.
And remember, even if you don't get this particular job,
Mm-hmm.
every interview is a learning experience. Each time you go through it, you get better,
Right.
more confident, and you get a clearer sense of what you really want.
That's such a good point. It's
Yeah.
easy to get caught up in the pressure of a single interview,
Yeah.
but it's all part of a bigger journey.
And speaking of journeys, the RoleCatcher Career Guide has some really good insights on long-term career planning. It's never too early to think about those bigger goals.
Absolutely. What stood out to you from the guide in terms of like career progression?
One thing that really stuck with me is showcasing your abilities beyond teaching,
Oh,
publishing research, presenting at conferences, even getting involved in community stuff.
yeah.
Those all build your profile.
Right.
Show your commitment to the field.
So it's about becoming a thought leader, contributing to the wider earth science world.
Exactly. And the guide also talks about always learning, staying on top of the latest research,
Yeah.
maybe getting advanced degrees,
Okay.
even mentoring the next generation of educators.
I love that saying, once you stop learning, you start dying.
So true. And earth science is always changing.
It is.
So you have to stay curious, stay engaged. That's how you have a fulfilling career.
Well, I am feeling so inspired,
Good.
ready to embark on this journey. And I know our listeners are too.
I hope so. We've covered a lot in this step dive, from those practical interview tips to career insights, even the power of AI. But the most important message, believe in yourself, embrace that passion for earth science, and go make a difference.
That's the perfect way to end it. To all our aspiring earth science lecturers out there, remember, you have the power to inspire, to educate, to shape the future of our planet. So go rock those interviews and let your passion shine.